Now, Beryl, I was reading a book recently. In fact, I've just bought it, so I haven't made my way all the way through it. But it's by a chap called Andrew Doyle. Now, Andrew Doyle is now a sort of political commentator and presenter. He's on GB News. Before that, he was a comedian and had an amusing fake Twitter account, which people liked, and he gained notoriety. And he's written a book called The New Puritans. By the New Puritans, he's talking about something specific. Now, he mentions that the current censoriousness of our media organisations like Twitter and Facebook and Google, people who are the gatekeepers, I suppose, to the conversation in the world. People talk about these as culture wars.
Yes.
It's not just those gatekeepers, of course. It's also government and Hollywood. And,
yes.
It seems all the people in positions of power, gatekeepers to the culture, are all sold up to a certain way of thinking. And he says, well, it's often associated with George Orwell's 1984, which was written in 1949, so as being a way, people are being authoritarian. You have to believe the idea of doublespeak, where you say one thing, and because you have to say certain things. But he says, no, actually a better literary precedent is The Crucible. The Crucible was written about the Salem witch trials, in which Puritans of the era sought out women supposedly who had been witches and put them on trial, and they were killed, and it was a complete travesty. Now, of course, as he points out in his book, most Puritans didn't do that, didn't go around putting people on trial. But this one occasion, these limited occasions when it was so badly done, reflects the fact, he says, that they believed that there were demons all around trying to take control of people. And he then sees that as a bad thing. We would say, I think, well, that it would be a good thing if people were more aware of demons and evil spirits. But the point he's making is rather this, that if you believe that people who disagree with you are evil, it then becomes acceptable to use extreme measures to silence them and to stop them. And that's happening culturally today. And what he's talking about by this new Puritan, this new religion, are people who believe that, I'm going to list a few things, but they all come together into like a doctrine of belief. See if you recognise it. People who believe that men can become women and boys can become girls and girls can become boys, and they should be encouraged to do so. That homosexuality is not just tolerated, but should be promoted and celebrated. That, as we were referring earlier, that the climate change is human-made and is heading us for destruction, and we have to change our whole way of life to be able to sort this out, and everything has to be jettisoned. The family, husband and wife, is not the centre of society. Rather, we're all individuals, and whatever we want to be and choose to be should be celebrated and encouraged. And the state will then pick up the burdens and takes the place of mummy and daddy. And all that is sometimes called woke.
Yes. I think I would agree with your summary.
Do you think Andrew Doyle's right, though, in saying it's like the Salem witch trials? Are they out to get us? Like us here on our show on Innocent Flame Radio, are we in fact going to be subjects of people out to silence us?
I sense that the people who are promoting this woke culture are in the ascendancy, and they certainly believe in making themselves heard and making people who don't agree with them into people who should be denigrated and brought down and so on. Yes.
One of the things I didn't mention, which is certainly part of woke doctrine, one of these things you have to believe, is that all religions are equal. Them not believing that this Woke-ism is a religion, because it's not formally a religion. We're just seeing that it has the characteristics of it. And so if all religions are equal, and yet the individual religions make truth claims, like Christianity, Islam, and other religions make claims, then they're all false. Right?
Yes, I can see that.
That's the logic of what they say.
Logic.
Because they do that, they're able to do incredible mental gymnastics and support Islam whilst being against everything that Islam represents.
Yes. I sometimes wonder how that can be, but it is.
It used to be that quite often left-wing politics became aligned with Islam because they were both fighting against the hegemony of what was seen as Christian countries. In the same way now, it seems that the woke gatekeepers to our world are on the side of Islam, apart from when it's against all the things it is against. For example, homosexuality would be against. What happens then? Who wins?
Yes, a good question.
I don't know. It'd be an interesting question to ask.
Particularly with Iran at the moment and the protests that are going on of what girls should wear, the protests against that.
And I highlighted this book by Andrew Doyle, The New Puritans, but I haven't read it yet, so I don't want to comment any further. I've read a few pages, and I know the basic subject it's about. So I'll give a full report when I've actually read it. It would be unfair to say any further. But so far, I do recommend giving it a go. You can get it on Amazon and more major retailers, so do get hold of it. Andrew Doyle, The New Puritans.
Do you think it would benefit Christians?
The book, I do think so, because Christians have the same problem that Andrew Doyle had, in that because he didn't agree with the woke agenda, he was targeted and called bad names. Now, he obviously has managed to sail over this, and it's like water off a duck's back, it seems. He was called, for example, a fascist and a racist, bigot, right-wing white supremacist. All these sort of labels are put on people, and for many people, it's too much to bear. Christians want to be good people. In fact, God tells them to be good people. When they're labelled like this, it's difficult not to give up under the pressure. And so I think it's a useful book to read to see how your opponents who are labelling you are in fact disingenuous. And they themselves are the things that they're accusing you of. They're the real bigots. They're the real racists, and they're certainly the people who are the real cultural supremacists. They believe their way of life or nothing.
So Christians need a bit of resilience, and this might arm them.
I think
a bit.
I think I'll quote Kanye West here. We've quoted Kanye West, known as Ye now, just the part of his name. He was interviewed on Fox News TV over in the United States by Tucker Carlson recently. Now, we referred to Kanye West, of course, reporting on his claimed conversion to Christianity and his beliefs, and he's doubled down on it. He continues to talk about his Christian belief, his pro-life beliefs, anti-abortion, also his anti-racism beliefs, certainly, his latest fashion show. I think most of his money comes from fashion, not from singing, although that was his first career, and he continues in it. He wore a shirt saying "White Lives Matter,"
right,
which stirred up a lot of controversy, and he said he wore the shirt with that saying on it because it's true. That was his reason. Yes,
it's absolutely true. He would have more of an effect, I think, because he is black himself.
Yeah, I think that's why he was doing it. But he, similarly to other people have said this, was asked whether he was bothered by people's reactions to it. Well, he was specifically talking about his reactions to his wearing a lanyard round his neck which had an ultrasound of a baby on it because he's anti-abortion. And he said, he was asked, what about people's reaction to it? And he said, I don't care about other people's reactions. I perform for an audience of one, and that is God. And I think as fellow Christians with Kanye West, we need to take that on board. I think he's absolutely right.
We certainly do.
It's God's opinions that matter. It doesn't matter if people call you names.